This story is huge. Wicked is what one would call a cultural juggernaut, a musical that took the world by storm in the early 2000s. With star power and production value that would carry the untold story of Oz into the ears of theater junkies and normal people alike. The music alone inspired many to start their own Broadway journey, consuming brand products, and start or continue listening to a show. A show that was almost as unavoidable as it was popular. Wicked. Naturally, I hadn't seen it, or heard much of the music. My love for this show had not yet kicked in. As I went to go see it release in theaters last year in 2024, my expectations were not present. Unable to know what was ahead, I waited to eat my popcorn until the movie actually started, like a good little attendee, and was promptly sent far away from Kansas or whatever other respective American state. When I returned, I was left with teary eyes, trying to process where the hell my brain just had the pleasure of being. Was I dreaming? Or did this unlikely film give me the best post-movie high of my life? I was speechless, especially after a 2-hour conversation on my podcast with my sister. Then, I was fully speechless. It seems about a year later, again, my speechlessness will have to wait. My Wicked rewatch has left me with even more things to say. The brilliance of this film is present in almost every aspect of Wicked's narrative and production. It is almost enough for me to stop following Wicked entirely. Risk never finding out what happens in part 2. It is that satisfying. At the very least, let's capture the moment where my dumbass thought it couldn't get any better than this. Off the bat, even without knowing these characters too well, each casting lets you know who a character is immediately, even without being familiar with the show. Like in Glinda's case, played by Ariana Grande, within 15 minutes you've got her clocked as the prissy, overconfident, asshole Glinda. Then, by the end of the film, as Glinda, a much kinder, but just as confident individual, Ariana Grande captures the character that I think Glinda should be. For part 1. With my limited knowledge of this character, I can't think of anyone else who would play this Glinda part as good. Except, maybe this random blonde woman. She seems talented. Fiyero is another character that I really enjoyed. I hadn't seen Jonathan Bailey in anything, so as an introduction to this guy, Wicked was perfect. He's a top-tier performer. And as for the character himself, Fiyero's omnisexual charisma has everyone falling for him like a true prince. When Fiyero and Glinda meet up, we get to see the epitome of the level of exaggeration that this universe is going for. Glinda hair flipping all over the place. Cheesy lines being spit back and forth. Very stupid humor present.
And this is the book place.
This is the core of what I think makes Wicked so good. Wicked Part 1 so good. It is willing to commit all the time. The whole film is unapologetic when it comes towards going the extra mile. It will do anything for a laugh, anything for a bigger finish to a song, or absolutely anything to garner as much emotion as possible. In one of Alphaba's best scenes, Cynthia Erivo is able to show off the most loud and meaningful scene for her character that would never work in a less committed non-musical. When Glinda tricks her into wearing that ugly-ass hat to the Stardust, the Ozdust is what it's called, instead of running away from all the people laughing at her, Elphaba chooses to dance. This moment of sheer acceptance of herself in front of a crowd is used as the opportunity to bring Glinda and Elphaba together. Glinda puts the one thing we think she cares about to the side, her social status, and joins Elphaba out on the dance floor, humiliating herself and starting a wave of beauty. Everyone starts doing their little chicken dance together with no music or anything. This moment is the tipping point for where Glinda and Elphaba really join the same team. It's made so much more beautiful by committing to this lengthy statement of openness and love. Speaking of lengthy, we probably need to talk about this movie's length. 2 hours and 40 minutes is a long movie, but it doesn't feel that way at all. We are able to cover a setup, a backstory, then what feels like a pretty complete college drama, and finally a never meet your heroes moment, leading to a chase sequence of pure passion and flight and just... sorry, we'll get there. That's a lot, though. There's so much packed into this film, as well as the characters, because of the time given to them. The length is 100% worth it. You'd hate to have anything to cut story-wise, especially if you're a fan of dark fantasy, because goddamn, Wicked goes to some scary places. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in part 2, so it could get much worse. But for this movie alone, we have some very dark moments. First, the reveal from Elphaba that it was her dad's fear of Nessa Rose turning out green that made Nessa Rose end up in a wheelchair. Dark. Or that animals were equal to humans, but are now being hunted against, not just to be killed or rounded up, but both of those, and to have their speech taken away. Darker. Or the monkey scene of Elphaba accidentally torturing a bunch of these monkeys, giving them wings. The screams of these poor guys is stuff out of nightmares. Darkest. Perhaps these scenes feel so dark to me, juxtaposed to the other brightness in the film. So much of this highly saturated beauty comes from the willingness to build real sets rather than have them done with CGI. Things like real tulips being planted in the background, full interiors being built, or even green trains and non-digital streets of Oz. They went all out to create a world that is fully real to us and the people acting inside it. I guess that's pretty important when you're singing live. Yep, Ariana and Cynthia wanted it to feel as real as possible and decided to sing most of the music live on set. Some of the most difficult notes were sang while running, jumping, or even spinning on a broom purely for authenticity? No, I think they wanted to do that for fun. I'm not sure if Jeff Goldblum sang live, which I kind of hope he was. I don't know, his stuff wasn't, like, bad. His voice stuck out for sure, which brought another problem that we'll get to. But he did a good job. I thought that the wizard himself couldn't be more whimsical than the city he founded, or whatever. But I was very wrong. Goldblum did what looked like a little improv, a little song, and a large turn that few could see coming. The wizard is bad. Yeah, not that shocking, if you've seen the original. But in the context of wanting to use animals as the opposition to Oz, it continues some added darkness to this sentimental man. The escape, when Elphaba becomes an enemy of the state, is nothing short of epic. I'm scared to talk about the music, because I don't know what I'm talking about, but the highs and lows that were hit in multiple ways during this song were magical. The build-up to this final moment of power from Elphaba, packed with the emotion of losing Glinda, it's enough to satisfy. Like, yeah, of course I want to see more of the story, but 2 hours and 40 minutes of school fights, love triangles, and conspiracies, all leading to Elphaba's musical escape into exile? If it all ended here, I wouldn't be that mad. The costumes, the sets, the music, the humor, the choreography, the cinematography, Jeff Goldblum's statued face. The overall scale of what I'm taking in for just part 1 is simply wicked. Okay, I just can't be left with more words on this. What have I missed? Excess stuff on the sets, the miniatures, the immersion, the character chemistry. Fine. In an effort to both be honest and garner even higher expectations for myself in part 2, let's talk about the slight bad parts of this. My first bad is going to be overall accessibility. I feel that you have to have previous experience with musicals to like this movie. Some musicals, I think non-musical loving people can coast through. Whether it's the ability to go to song naturally or sparsely, or maybe the person doesn't even care that much about what they're watching, or maybe they care too much about the story so they have to get through the songs. Wicked Part 1 just breaks out into songs in a way that I can see why people would have a problem with. I think it happens too sudden, or maybe it's the overtopness. Just picture the whole Elphaba dancing scene at the Ozdust. If you don't like musicals, that's not as fun and potentially even awkward to watch. Just putting that out there. I also don't like how this movie reveals the wizard as Elphaba's dad so obviously. If I'm not right about that, it is the greatest and most unfair red herring of all time. But I wish they would have found a way to keep that a secret so it didn't officially happen until the second. That's really my only 2 complaints. Okay, there's definitely more, but we don't have time for this, and I just love this movie. I want to keep talking good about it. Wicked is not something that I thought would become prevalent in my life. Wicked Part 1 was able to make it so with ease. This movie's willingness to go so far in each and every aspect is something I won't soon forget. This commitment is what made Wicked a shit ton of money at the box office. If Part 2 keeps up the same energy, I have no doubt it'll solidify my new admiration for this show. But now, I believe I'm finally speechless about all this. There's no way it could get better, right? I doubt there will be any more worth talking about. And with that, thank you, Andre. Specifically you, Andre. And of course, to everyone else who watched this one, thank you. Yeah, this is definitely a good video to make. A lot more thoughts that I have to pack in here. Maybe I should have went to like 20 minutes with this one. But, man, I love this movie so much. And I'm so excited to see Part 2. I'm going to see it tomorrow with my sister. And I guess that's the perfect time to mention big announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, sit down, hold on to your socks or something. Yeah, hold on to your hats and glasses, all that. Because, drum roll please, Fresh Out the Film is officially on multiple platforms. We are no longer on Spotify only. I'm talking about Fresh Out the Film, which is me and my sister's podcast where we get out of the movie theater, go to the movie theater parking lot, and turn on the microphones immediately in the car right after we get out of the movie. We try to bring a lot of that energy over from the movie theater. It really is a great time. We are doing Wicked Part 2. We've already done Wicked Part 1. It's a little inaudible, so you probably don't want to listen to that. You can. It's in the back catalog. But please go ahead and check out the Fresh Out the Film podcast. But, yeah, I think we're done here. So, deuces.